Hello and welcome to the next video in the series of business accounting, and this one called How to Increase Your Profits. So at the end of the last video, we looked at the various things that are included in the profit calculation. So how can the business owner make the profit bigger? The simple answer is that there are only two ways: higher income or lower expenses. So here's the table that we had at the end of last video. For the top figure, if the income is higher, even if the expenses are the same, the gross profit will go up. And for the expenses on the second line, the 3,000, if it goes down, the gross profit will go up again. So that's the only two ways that you can change the gross profit. So how can we make income go up? We can sell the same number of things, but for a higher price. That is, we put our prices up. We can sell extra things. For example, we have only sold food in our shop in the past, but in the future we can also sell clothes. We can sell in a new place. If we had a shop in Popra at the moment, we could open a shop in Sao next year. Or if we have always sold to Karen people in the past, we could also sell to Thai people. We can change what we sell. We can stop selling things that we don't make much profit from and sell things we make a lot of profit from instead. We can sell the same number of things, but for a higher price. That is, we put our price up. So here we have an example. In the Big 4 case at the top, we sell 100 hot dogs for 5 baht each. Our income is 500 baht, and our profit is 200. And then in the bottom one, the after case, we sell 100 hot dogs for 6 baht each. Our income is 600, and our profit is 300. It's not quite as simple as that. We know from supply and demand that if prices go up, people will buy less. So maybe after looks more like this. We sell 90 hot dogs for 6 baht each, not 100. So we only get 540 baht in, and our net profit is 240 baht. What if a lot of buyers stopped buying because the price went up? So in this example, in the table, we sell only 80 hot dogs for 6 baht each. Our income is 480, and our profit is 180. So now our profit is less than the 500 baht that we were making when the price was 5 baht. So let's look again at our starting profit calculation. We sell 100 hot dogs for 5 baht each, income is 500. Gas, hot dogs, onions, all the things we had to buy cost 300, and our profit was 200. So we can say that our future income must be at least 500 baht for us to keep the same profit. So then we can ask the question, if I put my price up to 6 baht per hot dog, how many do I need to sell to make 500 baht? And the answer is 500 divided by 6, which is 82.5. So if I sell that many for 6 baht each, my profit will be the same as selling 100 for 5 baht. So we need more information about how much what we sell is likely to move up or down because of price changes. This is called elasticity of demand. Elasticity is the adjective, elastic is the noun. It's like a rubber band. Some you can stretch a lot, others only a little bit. And elasticity of demand means that for some things, a small price change will cause a big change in demand, but for other things, a small price change won't have much effect on demand. Think about your own situation. If the price of water went up, would you still buy water? The answer is probably yes, because you still get thirsty. Maybe you could buy less water, but that's not easy because the bottles are still the same size. Think about needs and wants. Water is a need. Without it, you will die. You can't say, I'll stop drinking water because it's too expensive. Wants are different. We can live without wants, so we are more likely to stop buying a want than a need. This means the demand for needs is less elastic than demand for a want. Saying this another way, when there is a price rise, the demand for a need will stay strong, but the demand for a want will get weaker. Not all wants are the same. For example, you might choose to stop buying chocolate bars, but continue to put money on your phone to make calls. So the demand for chocolate bars would have more higher elasticity than the demand for phone top-ups. So here's a graph of elasticity of demand. So along the bottom, from 10 to 30, we have the price. On the other axis, from 0 to 12, we have the number that are bought. We have three lines. The top one, the blue one, is for food. The middle one, the orange one, is for your phone. And the bottom one is for chocolate. And you can see they all start at the same point where you are buying 10. What happens with the food one? It goes down, but not very much. It only goes down from 10 on the left to 8 on the right. The middle one, the phone, also doesn't go down a lot, more than food, but it only goes down as far as 6 at the right. The chocolate falls very quickly at the beginning, and then it keeps going down, and eventually when the price gets to 28, the amount bought is 0, so people stop buying because the price is too high. So we can say the amount of food people buy only goes down slowly as prices get higher. The amount of chocolate people buy goes down very quickly as prices get higher. So comparing food with chocolate, you can see that although the amount of food bought goes down a little bit, it doesn't go down much, and it soon stops going down. Compare that with chocolate, where demand goes down quickly when prices go up, and if the price gets too high, people don't buy any. So we can make some general conclusions, but there can always be exceptions. Luxury goods, things like chocolate, jewelry, first-class airplane tickets, are very price elastic. They have high elasticity, or the demand changes a lot when the prices change. They are the first thing that consumers give up when times are bad, and they're the last thing they start to buy again when times improve. For needs, the elasticity is low. The amount bought doesn't change much if the price changes. They're the last thing people give up when times are bad, and the first things they start to buy again when times improve. Within the category of foods, there can be some changes. For example, if prices go up, consumers may buy more rice and less curry. There is also a range of things that are nearly needs, things like electricity. Demand for them won't change much. They're similar to needs. So what do businesses do? Businesses know that customers don't like price increases, and they may stop buying. So sometimes they try to hide the price increase. Ask yourself if you know how many pieces of candy are in a packet when you buy candy. Probably no. So if the seller reduced the number, you wouldn't know. Let's say candy costs 100 baht and you get 100 pieces. So 1 baht per candy. And then the seller only puts 80 pieces of candy in the packet and the price is still 100 baht. Now the cost for each piece of candy is 100 divided by 80, which is 1.25. So the price has gone up and you never knew about it. So why would you change what you buy? So conclusions. At the beginning, we asked the question, can I increase my profit by increasing the price of what I sell? We now know that the answer is sometimes yes, sometimes no. You have to know about the price elasticity of what you are selling. And mostly you will depend on your experience as a seller to answer that. Customers always hate price increases. If you increase prices, your reputation with customers will get worse. And that can be a real cost. For example, if they don't feel loyalty to your shop anymore, they may start to go to other shops. Before you increase your price, use your critical thinking. How much more profit will I make? Is that extra profit worth the disadvantages to the business of a price increase? Okay, how can we make expenses go down? We can start by looking at the biggest expenses. For many businesses, this is the workers' wages. So checking if you have the right number of people to do the work is important. This is very important if the income or the number of sales is going down. For example, if 1,200 people stayed at your hotel last year, and this year only 900, you probably don't need as many people to do the laundry, make the beds, and cook breakfast. But before you tell some of your workers you don't need them anymore, there's a few things you should think about. How many people do you think will stay next year? It's too late to do anything about how many stayed last year. It's history and you can't change it. Of course, looking at how many will stay next year is a guessing game. But if you know your business well, you should be able to make a good guess. This is especially true if you understand why the numbers went down last year. So see the earlier video about how we keep accounting records to help us understand this. Maybe the weather was very bad last year. Or maybe they were digging up the road outside your hotel and making a lot of noise and dirt, so people didn't want to stay. You might look at these reasons and say, those things won't happen again next year. So the number of people should go back up to 1,200. So I won't lose any staff because I will need them all next year. Maybe the situation is more serious. Maybe the numbers went down because there's a new hotel in town that has taken a lot of customers from all the older hotels. If that's true, the numbers won't go back up to 1,200 quickly. So you might decide to end the jobs of some staff. Even then, it might not be a good idea. It only makes sense if you can easily find new workers who are as good as the old ones, if the numbers go back up. If it's very hard to find good people, you might want to keep them, even if there's not much for them to do right now. Also, in small businesses where the owner works with about 5 or 6 other people, sometimes the owner finds it very hard to finish someone's job because they know them so well. So here's the question: should the boss finish the worker's job or not? So last year, there were 1,200 people stayed in your hotel and you had 20 workers. This year, you had 900 stay and 2 workers finished. Next year, if there's 1,200 hotel guests and you can find new workers quite easily, no problem. Next year, if there's 1,200 guests, but you can't find 2 new workers, you have a big problem. You should have kept the extra 2 workers last year. There's no true or false answer to this. You have to use your critical thinking to look at the situation. Okay, another big expense is rent. It's usually for the building that you work in. So you need to pay rent, money for using the building, to the owner. If the rent is high, you might be able to find somewhere else where the rent is lower. If the number of workers has gone down, do you need as much space? Maybe a smaller place would be okay. If times are bad, some owners will reduce rent to encourage you to stay in their building. They're afraid that if you move out, they may not be able to get anyone else, and then they would get no money at all. Or they may have to lower the rent to get somebody else. There are a lot of other expenses where you may be able to reduce the amount you use. For example, you can use less power by turning off lights and machines and fans, things like that. It would lower your electricity bill. You can use photocopy paper by using both sides. You have to use your imagination about where you can reduce expenses. Many businesses in rich countries have moved their factories to poor countries because they can pay lower wages. So things that used to be made in the USA are now made in Burma or China or Indonesia. This is how they reduce the total wages they pay. And this is the end, my friend. See you next time.